survives into another day, and I'm thinking about eternity. Some kind of ecstasy got a hold on me.
Hey family and friends, welcome to Sri Lanka. For our first stop, we stopped over in the not so little town of Kandy, where they actually played the Sri Lanka versus Australia cricket game the day after this was filmed. But yeah, this is just us exploring the city, wandering around. It's also the spot where we tried our first proper Sri Lankan samosas and good curry in the evening. You'll see a picture of that a bit later. This town's also famous for having the tooth of the Buddha, although that's not something we are really interested in going to go see. And we heard from some other tourists that were sharing the hotel with us that it's a bit overrated and they wouldn't recommend it for many people unless you are into that sort of thing. So we were happy that we skipped that. But yeah, just really good to walk around and enjoy some of the scenery. People are super friendly, very easy to get around. This lovely lake that we could walk along, it's like a bit of a promenade. Then there's these birds. Just take a listen to this. Yeah, so in real life you basically couldn't even hear each other talking to one another. So yeah, just a small little tuk-tuk ride to our restaurant, had some dinner, then headed back to the hotel and got a good night's sleep before heading off the next morning on a taxi, which was not part of the original plan, as the only reason why we went to Kandy was so that we could catch the famous train ride. But we were pretty happy with this taxi ride. It's still got some very good views. Saw a couple of little Sri Lankan towns up in the mountains. Very, very scenic drive through the plantations of the tea plantations. But the views were honestly just incredible, and if I were to ever do this again, I would want to hire some sort of motorbike and just cruise along this road until halfway along that train, because part of the train is not really, can be a little boring, but just take a look at these views and you'll see what I mean why I would do this part again on a motorbike and just cruise along here.
Surface of the bay, one of these days we're gonna sail away, gonna sail into eternity. Some kind of ecstasy got a hold on me. And I'm wondering where the lions are. 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 I'm wondering where the lions are.
We finally got to the train station called Watagama. From there we caught the train and we headed through to Ella. Unfortunately, because they only cancelled our ticket the very last minute, we couldn't get our tickets back and we had to just get these standing tickets. So we did the whole 3 hours just standing. And we used my bag as a seat, I guess. But overall it was a pretty cool trip on the train. Definitely the best train I've ever been on. And if I were to recommend this train to anybody, you should definitely do the second class sitting. First class is not bad, but the only problem is that you can't open up the windows. And yeah, you want to kind of put your head out the window and get some good photos and things like that. So second class seating, being able to sit out the windows. You can also walk out and kind of stand outside of the train a little bit. You see a bit of that later. Yeah, just really cool. We also head through some of the towns and you just get some of the best views I've ever seen. Not just from a train, but just in general.
Summer sun, wash away my body. sky. Summer sun, kiss me with your sunshine. Run away forever, maybe. Let your light shine on me.
So after quite a bit of this nice scenic and not so bad trip, the one stop we got, there were a lot of people that got on. I was literally squashed up against the chair and the bags. Emma and the rest of the family were sitting pretty comfy at the back there, and I was hating life. I was fighting for my space against these old Sri Lankan mamas. So as we're heading along the mountainside here, you would actually see some of the tea plantations. They're just pretty much everywhere, all on those hills. Pretty much all of the tea that we get from Lipton all comes from this area. Yeah, it's just really cool to see, and it's just the greenery, almost indescribable. And I saw this man busy doing this. It gave me a bit of an idea.
Oh, babe, gotta figure this out somehow. You made another move and now we're heading back south. Give me a roll through your old downtown. I'm not gonna fast, gonna turn around. Oh, give me a roll through your old downtown, babe. Give me a roll through your old downtown. I'm not gonna fast, wanna turn around. Oh, give me a roll through your old downtown, babe.
We finally arrived in the small town of Ella. We headed up to a bit of a mountain pass. You can see some of the hills in the distance there in this weird little view. Nice little tuk-tuk journey up. We were absolutely smothered in bags on the way up. This is actually from a previous trip when I could actually get my camera out. We arrived at the hotel called Golden View Guest House. I would highly recommend this place because of hospitality. They were just the friendliest guys to help you. They went out and got you dinner in the evening. Obviously you had to pay for it. But yeah, just the greatest experience here. Made really good friends with one of the guys. He got us into the hotel bar next door that had cricket on, so we could watch Sri Lanka beat Australia that night. Obviously we had just left Kandy where they were playing the game. So yeah, it's a nice view from the hotel, overlooking the tea plantations and all the hills, and here's our room. And look at that beauty. But the view was pretty good too. Next morning we took our leisure time and had coffee and breakfast before making our way through to this organic homemade tea farm. And the host was really friendly and such a awesome, knowledgeable chap about tea. Showed us how you basically use the tea leaves and how you get the different green teas and just the black tea and the white tea, and yeah, it was interesting. Very cool. Little family farm, so proper organic, where he doesn't use any of the fertilizer stuff. Very interesting, his methods. He also had a whole bunch of things of coffee and different fruits and all of these things that he uses. They took us through the techniques of how they roll the tea and dry the tea, and just the other different variations that you do to get the different types between green, black and white tea. Yeah, super interesting. You'll see that these other people with us a little later almost fumbled all of his hard work that he had put into rolling that little ball over there. I was just thankful that it wasn't myself. Then obviously came the best part, tasting the tea. So we tried the different types of tea obviously, which was actually really good and quite refreshing and needed at this stage. They also brought out some coffee from the farm that we could try. Also very good, very fresh, very nice. It used to actually, Sri Lanka used to be known for its coffee until fungus kind of took over all the coffee, and now they had to plant tea in its place. So interesting fact that they never used to be a tea country, they used to be a coffee factory. Yeah, interesting. Not many people I don't think know that, but yeah, he explained that there was a fungus that went through Sri Lanka and killed all the coffee basically, and it became really hard to grow coffee. After wandering around the town and buying a few more things that we didn't need, we made our way to this place called the Nine Arches Bridge, which is meant to be a big famous bridge that the train crosses, and we thought we'd arrived at the right time, but unfortunately because of the landslides they were working off a different time now, so we didn't get to see the train go over the bridge, but still cool bridge, and it's a good little hike to come and see this spot, and I guess you could probably do a lot more hiking around here. Some nice little trails and things. So we saw this cool little like Lorex bush baby type thing that we tried to get a picture of, but unfortunately the settings weren't right, so we missed the shot. Oh well. We then traded the mountains for something a little more flat and more beachy, I guess you could say.
Lost my summer love.
So this is a place called Unawatuna, well we're actually on our way to a place called Unawatuna. This is the hotel that we stayed at. Very pretty hotel on the beach. We had some resident turtles in front of the spot. Some good sunsets. Yeah, really good little spot. A little pricey, but I guess that's what you pay for being on the beach.
Siento fuego para el frío. I've seen the golden chains of love. I've climbed the highest mountains. I've heard the loudest thunder. It's not the same without you.
We headed out to the town nearby, the main city center, I guess, the city area, and went to some restaurants, explored some of the nightlife, and yeah, very nice little town, very busy, a lot of Russians. So if we were to ever go back here again, I would recommend a slightly different spot to where we are. This would be a good place to come do some of your like shopping, I guess, for souvenirs and some of the clothes. But yeah, cool town, very nice, very beachy. But a little bit further south of here is a bit more rustic and more our speed. So if we were to come back here, we would recommend going slightly more south of here. Although this place is pretty vibey and it is pretty cool, don't get me wrong. One thing that we did learn about this area is that there's this thing called the tuk-tuk mafia. And they basically kind of chase away Uber drivers and other sort of taxi drivers because they feel like they're getting their customers stolen. Yeah, so we kind of wanted to avoid them as much as possible, but you kind of can't because the Uber drivers get scared and then you end up having to use these guys anyway. So just check the price on one of the apps and then try and negotiate the price closest to that, I guess, and then hopefully you get the price that you want. Exploring the beach, and we found this little guy crawling around. Had a very unique shell, which actually made his life a little bit harder because I saw him get stuck a little bit later on. But poor little guy. So we spent the day trying to find some seashells and stuff, but didn't really find a lot. Saw the turtles, and yeah, just cool. Just explored our little beachfront that we had in front of us before deciding to head out for the day. So we spent the day here. It's a really cool old building, right on the water. It was quite an expensive day, probably one of the most expensive days that we've had, but as you can tell by the glamour of this place, it is a pretty upmarket spot. Yeah, very, very cool. I ended up hiring a surfboard here for $15 a day, which is not bad. If you do more than one day, you can get it for cheaper, so definitely something to think of for next time. But yeah, we just spent the day chilling here. I tried to do a bit of surfing, but failed most of the time. Managed to catch a few waves, and yeah, just very rusty. But beautiful day, beautiful sky and everything. Sat here, had some beers, had some burgers. Yeah, fun times. Next morning we woke up earlier than the birds and headed out on the boat to try see if we could spot some blue whale. We unfortunately spent a lot of the time sailing around the sea, just exploring and looking for any sort of sign of life.
She made a promise.
Eventually, the skipper spotted a pod of dolphins that we managed to get some videos of and see them jumping up and down through the waves. They're called spinner dolphins because actually when they jump, a lot of them spin in the air, which actually was really cool. I don't think I managed to get any clips of that happening. I did get this guy swimming right below me though, and Emma got a really good shot of it. You'll see it a bit later. Very good shot. Definitely getting better with her camera. From time to time I would look over to my right and I would see Hal and Tina busy just taking a little bit of a power nap, and obviously the waves rocking them made them a little too comfortable. And then we saw these. They were a type of dolphin, but I will have to look up the name and double check what they were. That brings us to our last night, where Hal was a bit buggered and went and had a bit of a nap. And we sat and played cribbage and skip-bo and things like that at our hotel. Also took a bit of a swim and some snorkeling. Unfortunately, the water was quite murky, so we didn't get to see a lot. I guess that if you went a little further out and found different reefs, maybe it would be a bit better, but very murky, so I wouldn't recommend it that highly for snorkeling, but wouldn't count it out. And that brings us to the end of our trip. We ended up with a nice thunderstorm that evening and still a nice sunny day the next morning. Until next time, bye!